Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ayn and I am so happy that you're here today. We are going to talk about how to make the most out of your training, master's degree, bachelor's degree, whatever you're currently doing. Because the thing is, these things are expensive and you put in a lot of money, a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you want to make sure that you're getting the absolute most out of it. I did several trainings and I also did a master's in publishing myself. And so my tips are some of the things that I wish I had known before investing in these programs and before starting them so that I could truly make the most out of them. Although it is not necessary to do a master's to have a degree for most jobs, I think sometimes it's just a useful thing to have. I feel like it's a very personal choice. It really depends on circumstances, and I do completely appreciate that not everyone is going to have the means to be able to do this. But where I have decided to invest in programs and trainings came from the fact that I really do get confidence out of knowing that I have studied and actually learned the skills and the knowledge and the information necessary to be able to either change industry or enter a specific kind of role. The two biggest trainings that I ever have done and invested in are my master's in publishing, which I did at UCL, and it was a really special time. That was like a year-long program. And then I also did an events management diploma, which was an evening program and training that lasted, I want to say 4 to 6 months. I can't quite remember. And both of these things were actually done, in my case, on top of a full-time job, which I would not recommend doing. But my circumstances were that I could not afford to actually drop out of my employment. I had bills to pay, I had rent to pay, and so I had to kind of make do with doing that whenever I could. So maybe the first tip that I would give you, and I would give past Ayn, would be to not do that, because that is very, very stressful and is very, very intense. But if you have to do it, then tip number one for me is to clear your schedule and make time for the activities that will come with your new program or training. When you start doing a program, whether it's a university one or a professional training course, you're going to naturally have some opportunities that pop up and unexpected times. They could be events, they could be just socializing with your colleagues and with your tutors, and you just want to make sure that you have enough time to dedicate to those activities, because those are definitely a big part of the whole experience. It isn't just the lectures, it isn't just the exams, it's really the rapport that you can build with the people that you're going to have around you and the doors that are going to be open whilst you're in that program. So you want to make sure that your schedule is as clear as possible and that you have some time that is going to be allocated to do this. Some ways to do that is to kind of let people know in your life that you're going to be really working hard towards this, and that your main focus for the next few months is going to be on making sure you make the most out of this training. And that way you're not going to feel that guilty if you have to move a few things or have to skip a birthday or two, but it is really invaluable, and I would honestly recommend you doing that before you start, or if you're at the beginning, just take a moment, do it now, because it's going to definitely be a good move. The next tip that I have is to connect with your colleagues. So you're going to be entering a program and there's going to be people that are doing the exact same thing as you. Those are invaluable connections. They are the people that are going to be working alongside you potentially, or that will be working in places where you might move to eventually. I will always remember the first thing that we were told when we started the UCL MA from our professors and teachers was look around the room. These are going to be your future colleagues, and they are. So today, most of the colleagues that I had when I was doing my MA are now working in different roles, in different departments, in different companies across publishing. And it's absolutely amazing to have these connections. And you don't have to become best friends with everyone, but just making sure that you're taking a moment to really socialize. That is definitely something that I feel like I haven't done enough. So, if you haven't been able to do it, or if you're struggling with it, don't beat yourself up about it. But try to incorporate it in the spirit of making the most out of your training. One other thing that I wish I had done whilst I was doing all these trainings was to reach out to the guest speakers and professionals that were coming to talk and teach us about specific things. I think that was such a missed opportunity, and I really do regret it to this day, and I do not have many regrets in my life. But if I could give you a piece of advice, would be to just make sure that you are sending them something very simple. Like, it could be just a thank you note and a connection request on LinkedIn. You find your own thing, whether you like to drop them an email or you want to go after the class to say hello, connect to them on Twitter or Instagram, whatever you think is appropriate. But honestly, if you don't know what to do, a thank you note and a connection on LinkedIn is going to be enough to make sure that you keep connected for the future. The next thing that I'm gonna say is for you not to worry about your grades. It is not important how you finish your MA or your training. It is important that you finish, that you pass, and that you have got that diploma or that certificate in your pocket. Nobody has ever asked me what I graduated with from UCL. Nobody has ever asked me my mark in the diploma that I did for like my events management course. I really don't think it's important. It is irrelevant, and you should not stress about that. Make sure you're doing a good job, make sure you're passed, obviously, and just make sure that that isn't something that is playing in the back of your mind. Have fun, learn as much as you can, and do the best that you can according to the situation that you're in. I really remember worrying about my grades when I was in my MA, because I saw that everyone else was too, but I just simply could not do more than I was doing because I was also working, and that were the circumstances. One thing that you can focus on, and that I think is going to be like really beneficial for you both during your training and afterwards, is to build a good rapport with your tutor. You're going to probably be assigned a tutor, or you're going to have like someone who is heading up the course and training that you're doing. And I think like taking the time to build a strong relationship with them is going to really help you, both in terms of finding opportunities, but also in terms of having someone that you can go to if anything goes wrong. Because chances are that during your training, there's going to be life stuff that happens, or just like general stuff. I mean, look at what's happened in the past few years with the pandemic, and you really want to have somebody that you can talk to and that you can feel close to, that can help you through that. And you know, that's why they are there for. So make sure that you take a bit of time to get to know them and to like build a good rapport, because they'll be invaluable both during and after your training. The next thing is, again, something that I feel like I wish I had done more of, and it is to take advantage of any university access to well-being and career and learning and development things that you can just get for free. These kind of things are absolutely invaluable, and you're probably not gonna have access to it to the same extent and with the same benefits once you're out of university, or if you're doing a training out of the training. So make sure that you have a look in whatever portal you have, see what kind of things you can access, because that's like a very good thing to be able to focus on and do. And remember, that's also why you should be clearing your schedule, because there's gonna be really invaluable opportunities that you can tap into whilst you're doing that training. This is a really important one forever, not just for when you're doing your training and your university time, but specifically when you have a little bit more of a flexible schedule. I would say to take the time to really read industry news and access anything that you can using that student discount. So think about anything from magazines to events and things that you're gonna be able to do using the student discount, or using the fact that you actually have a bit of extra time to make sure that you keep up to date with everything that's happening, that you get a bit more experience, that you get exposed to whatever it is that you're training for, because that is going to be something that it will be setting you apart from a lot of people that haven't really thought about that or haven't dedicated time to invest into this. And I honestly, again, I wish I had done more of this, and I couldn't, but that's okay, but you can now, and that's why I'm sharing these tips, because hopefully some of these are gonna be really helpful for you, and you'll be able to start off your training or your MA or your bachelor's degree and make the absolute most out of it. And the final tip, which is the biggest tip of all and the biggest thing that you need to remember, is to have fun. It is such a special time to be able to invest your time and your money and effort into learning something new. It is a beautiful thing. It is something that may not come back if you then crack on with your career and just like keep doing it. And certainly if you're doing the whole university experience, I think there is so much to it that you will look back fondly at for years to come. So make sure that you have fun, that you take advantage of everything, and yes, plan ahead and try to make the most out of it, but also just enjoy this beautiful time that you are able to invest in learning and bettering yourself. That was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And if you've got any questions at all, please remember to leave them in the comments down below and I'll pick them up and answer them as soon as possible. Thanks again for being here. See you next time.